Today, I'll share with you my epic fails when it comes to e-commerce. Hopefully you'll find it interesting and this will prevent you from getting into trouble yourself. It started innocently enough when I got interested in photography. I was scouring Facebook groups for second-hand camera gear, considering moving from Canon to Fuji. I got my hands on some lenses and bodies, but then quickly decided to go back to Canon. I noticed that the prices in these Facebook groups were much lower than on eBay, and that gave me an idea. I started listing surplus gear on eBay, but also on Amazon, but below the official listings, and even after covering the Amazon's 15% commission, there was still about 15% profit left in that. Not too bad. The lenses and bodies are quite expensive, so 15% was nothing to be sniffed at. Once I got the taste for it, I started buying more and more equipment from these Facebook groups, meeting a bunch of very nice people in the process. The profit itself wasn't massive, but it was enough for me to pay for my own camera gear, and I built up a really nice arsenal of lenses in the process. What changed that, however, was an encounter with an online scammer. You see, back in the day, when doing a bank transfer, you were not able to do a name check for the account holder. In this case, I was also in a rush and didn't spend enough time vetting the seller. Normally, these guys have photography websites, great portfolios, and a lot of great pictures on their profiles. This guy, however, only had the profile picture, and the whole profile was private. Not to worry, I knew that the Canon 5D he was selling would flip really quickly. The trouble started when that never arrived. It quickly dawned on me that Facebook was useless in terms of tracking the seller, and police would not be very helpful at all. Even the group admins didn't want to know. I had to report it to Action Fraud, which is basically a big database covering data on all the frauds happening in the UK. But they don't actually investigate them, they just gather data and group it in clusters to go after the biggest scammers. Interestingly enough, my bank did what they could to help. They contacted the recipient bank and asked for the money to be returned to me. About a few weeks later, I got a transfer for 45p, but there was a name attached to the account. I googled that name and found out that the guy was already a conman on the run somewhere in Spain. Of all places. I'll just say that cooled off my appetite for flipping lenses. Sometimes later, Amazon introduced more restrictions on sellers to prevent people from listing below the brand official listings without being a brand representative agent. So that was that. Still, I had a good time doing it and got some decent camera gear in the process, so no regrets. A few years later, I had to switch from being a contractor to a permanent employee, and it turned out enough the salary wasn't quite high enough. My wife didn't work at the time, so it was logical for us to find her a side hustle that she could do from home. As we were coming back from Poland at the time, where we got interested in healthy living and nutrition, it was logical for us to start importing some good quality organic food products to the UK. We needed a name, so we called the store Magda's Green Pantry. That was meant to position the store as a place for your dry foods, but also green and like organic and eco-friendly. We started the Shopify store and listed all the products and also used the eBay add-on to list them on eBay at the same time. We chose 5 vendors. Basically googling for eco-friendly organic foodstuffs from Poland. We chose some healthy oils, vitamins from an unknown brand in northern Poland, chokeberry powders and juices, and organic gluten-free pasta that had a single ingredient. At the end we needed one more supplier, and we decided to go with a well-known Polish supplement brand, even though we weren't initially looking for anything too commercial. So now let me tell you all the issues we had and the reasons we stopped selling the particular brand. Our first brand was manufacturing linseed, black cumin, hemp seed oils in a variety of bottle sizes. It had good quality English packaging and labeling, the product itself was really good, but the logistics side of it wasn't. Once we got a Euro pallet weighing like 300 kilograms in our front garden and a bunch of smashed bottles inside. We also suffered breakages in the parcels we were sending out to the customers and had to send them yet again. When we tried to scale up this product offering, it quickly turned out that demand was there, but not nearly high enough as we originally thought. The first batches of products were selling out in a week or two, but once we ordered a big batch, we were stuck with it for 3.5 months. In addition to that, our payment gateways and partners were freaking out just seeing the word hemp on our website, even though it was only hemp seed oil, which is perfectly legal and doesn't contain any traces of 3-letter substances. Interestingly enough, hemp seed oil sold quite well, but it was really tricky to keep it viable because of the listings being deleted all the time. In the end, the oils were only about 10% of our orders, so it was a big hassle and low revenue share, and we decided to can it in the end. There's a company selling these oils today. They have some other brands as well, and they seem to be successful, but the scale of the operation doesn't seem to be increasing that much year on year. I'm personally looking for products that we can scale up to a more meaningful level. The next thing we tried was food supplements, vitamins, proteins from an unknown brand and with Polish labels. We managed to sell the test batch, but it took us between 2 and 3 months so we knew it wasn't a promising product line. That was my biggest cock-up, where I ordered 20 kilograms of pea protein and I was going through it for a year and a half. Nothing spectacular happened here, there was just no demand, so we shelved this product line as well. The next product line were concentrated juices and juice powders from chokeberry or aronia and other things like dried hibiscus flowers. Again, this sold alright, but just too slowly for us to be able to make any meaningful income this way. Finally, creme de la creme, our organic gluten-free single ingredient pasta. Again, the packaging was in Polish, so we had to stick our labels over it with translations. I remember attaching A4 sheets of paper to every order in which I translated the original label. But the biggest problem there was the actual product. The quality and purity were there, but the products were just falling apart when cooking. You only had to cook it for 30% longer, and you ended up with a slurry instead of pasta. Turns out there's a reason why pasta has more than one ingredient. We also had an organic line of biscuits, but that was low priced and they didn't sell that well either. My kids only liked one kind of them. That's all to say we've only ordered from them once. So all these stories have one thing in common. The demand wasn't really there, or the product was difficult to handle on a large scale. Thankfully, our brand number 5 turned out to be a winner, and we scaled it successfully to £2 million in sales. Sometime later, we thought about diversifying the supplier base and got into yet another Polish supplement brand that had a bit of a different product profile. It was more focused on bodybuilding than health. They did have English labeling, and that was when the product selection was really wide. However, competition for bodybuilding related products like proteins and amino acids is ridiculously high, and we just couldn't get through. The baseline of vitamins and supplements, however, sold quite well. But there was a very surprising difference between the two brands. The difference was the average order value. With our best selling brand, we were averaging 3 items per order, but with this one, it was only 1.2. The repeat customer rate was also half of what we expected. In the end, we could only pay like £3 per customer, and that was nowhere near enough to scale up the advertising. After restocking 3 or 4 times, we decided that our advertising costs were too close to the profit, and we effectively ended up working for free. There was just no way we could meaningfully increase the average order value and repeat customer rate. Also, our market position wasn't great because we were not allowed to trade under the brand name. We had to create a completely new Shopify store to sell it, and building up that brand in turn proved difficult. This additional supplement brand was only about 5 or 10% of our turnover, and it was giving us a lot of admin overhead, and it wasn't worth it in the end, so we ended up dropping it. So as you can see, you can't really make something out of nothing. You can't generate demand that's not already there, and it's difficult to cut through the noise. You really need some kind of unfair advantage. That's not to say e-commerce can't be successful, it absolutely can. It's a great business model, but you need to have something special that you bring to the table. It's one of these businesses where an original idea is really what makes or breaks the business. Having said that, an idea without execution is also pointless. Thankfully, I'm an expert at execution and can help you meaningfully scale startups and get new stores to the next level. All I require is that there's a product market fit, and then we can get this thing flying. If you think you have a good product market fit, get in touch with me and let's make some money together. Book a free call using the link in the description below.